This video is sponsored by Muslim Certify.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, I wanted to post this video or record this video to give some feedback on another video that our brother Omar Sher posted not too long ago entitled Muslims Stop Boycotting. And I understand it got a lot of pushback on that particular title, if nothing else. So I just wanted to give you my feedback and give you my thoughts about that particular video and the whole idea of stop boycotting and what I understood our brother Omar to be saying to us, inshallah. And at the conclusion of this, I also want to share with you, a possible solution or, what we can do as Muslims to get beyond that particular stage. Because I frankly believe this is what the brother was trying to get us to look to, is get beyond the idea of just boycotting. So what is boycotting in terms of how we have been in the West, implementing the boycotting? Basically, we've been, refraining from buying products from a particular, company or corporation or several, if they are not, if we don't agree with their geopolitical stance or how they are spending their money in a way in which, basically is not beneficial to the people. Okay, that's fine and good. All right. So clearly we do not want to feed the wolf that's eating our chickens. We don't want to have to do that. But is that the only thing that we should be doing? And actually, what does it suggest? Because basically, in terms of a collective idea, this has started about 2 years or so ago, correct? But what's been happening all that time prior to that? We've been buying products from those companies, have we not? We've been giving our money to those companies. Did those companies just start participating in the activities that we are complaining about just 2 years ago, or were they always doing it? No. They were always involved in these kinds of activities. So what does that mean? That means that we are not as sophisticated as we really need to be in addressing these issues. But khalas, fine. It is what it is, and we are where we are. And it is a good thing that we have, at least, inshallah, many of us have awakened to the fact that we do not need to be spending in the way that we're spending with people who don't have our best interests at heart. Okay, I got that. That's fine. But it just can't be that. Because what happens when we boycott, yes, that may impact the bottom line of that particular corporation or company, but it doesn't help our bottom line any as Muslims as a whole. It doesn't do anything for us. All right? We just look for some other place, or we say, well, I'm not going to buy as much as I used to buy. But what does it do in terms of elevating our community from an economic standpoint? All right? So let's get into it here. All right? Now, do you have any idea, and I'm speaking now specifically about the American Muslims, in the American context. Do you have any idea how much we as Muslims in America spend? What is our GDP, so to speak? What is our consumer spending? It is estimated that we Muslims in America spend approximately $170 billion a year. Did you hear what I said? 170 billion. That's with a B, dollars a year. Now let me ask you this question. How much of that 170 billion comes back into our communities to help us to support our schools and our masajid and other institutions that we so sorely need? How many? Many of these dollars? I dare say a fraction of a percent, if that much. Now, yes, we have Muslim entrepreneurs, alhamdulillah, and that's a good thing. And we're not talking about that. That's something that we want to see continue to flourish. But what in terms of collectively that we can and need to be doing as a Muslim community, as a society in the American society? So I want to give you some things to think about here for a few minutes. All right. So why don't we consider buying collectively? Why don't we consider establishing our own Walmarts and Costco's and Sam's Clubs and etc.? It's not necessarily easy, but it is a simple concept. It's been done many times before. But we have to come together. We have to stop and think about what we are doing, how we're spending our money, what we need to be doing, and we should be doing. So what I'm proposing for us to consider is this, is that masajid in a particular area, in a particular geographic area, let's say, whether it's the DC, Baltimore area, or let's say the Washington, DC area, or some aspect of New York, where there are many masajid and thousands of Muslims, why don't the masajid come together? Why don't they come together and form a cooperative and start buying together? What are you going to buy? Start buying those things that you use and that you need. Look outside of your community. As Booker T. Washington said, drop your buckets where you are. Meaning, look at the resources that are available to you. So what is it, the things that we could use? Look at what is produced around us. For instance, the farmers that are in our communities. There are many farmers in our communities, some even Muslim farmers, or the African-American farmers that need our support. We could buy from them on a seasonal basis. We could buy from them and then have the members of our communities come and buy from us. And then that money goes back into the community. Do you understand my point here? This is what we should be doing. We should be looking at this thing from that type of perspective. Also, from the standpoint of, if we start really thinking in a broader way, looking at touching base with our Muslim brothers outside of America. Right now, I'm in Egypt. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Egypt produces many things: rice, sugarcane, and I'm sure many other things. As other countries, Muslim countries, we begin to reach out to them, but we have to organize ourselves. We have to organize ourselves. Now, I said this is a simple concept. It's been done before, and I'm going to make one brief reference back to the old Nation of Islam. I was a part of that movement back in the 70s. It imported fish, whiting fish, so those some of the old heads may know, and sardines from Morocco, and spread it out throughout the temples of America. We can do that. We should certainly be able to do that, inshallah, with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So my brothers and sisters, I'm just simply saying that we need to start thinking now. We need to start taking this idea of boycotting to another level of economic development, of economic sovereignty. Because, my dear brothers and sisters, you have to understand what time it is. And you know what I mean by that? I'm going to tell you quickly here. The ship is sinking. The good lollipop ship called America is sinking slowly but surely. But the whole point is this: we only have three options in this regard. If you take what I'm saying as truth, then we can either jump ship, we can go down with the ship, or we can try to save the ship. Jumping ship, this is the whole idea of Hijrah. If you can leave, you leave. Alhamdulillah. Not everybody can leave. We understand that. Not everybody's in that position to leave. Got it. We certainly don't want to go down with the ship. This is not the point that where a Muslim, how a Muslim should be thinking. So what do we need to do? We need to save ourselves. We need to do those things. We need to circle the wagon as Muslim communities. You understand my point? So, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, I just wanted to make this short and brief video to say this can be done, inshallah, bithnillah, with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we have to have vision. We have to have the leadership, and we're going to have to be able to put aside some of our petty differences, because no one can do this alone. We're going to have to give up this whole idea of this rugged American individualism. I can do it on my own, or each masjid said I can do this on my. No, you can't do it on your own. You cannot. I challenge you. You cannot do it on your own, and you should not be trying to do this on your own. We need to unite, and you need to come together on this kind of concept. We can talk about more of this at another time, inshallah. But I just want to throw this out there. And I think this is what our brother Omar, alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, was trying to get us to see, is that instead of boycotting, instead of refraining from buying products from a certain company, let's have our own products. Let's have our own. Let's establish our own. Inshallah, this will give us to start at least thinking about this idea and things that we can do. It doesn't have to be this idea. It can be ministry. Let me just finish on one more point. Do you know something that we can do that I've been thinking about this for years, by the way? Years. Something that we all use. Every person, every Muslim in America, almost everywhere. You know, we use toilet tissue, toilet paper, and paper towels. It's an everyday product in every item. Do you know now there's a machine that you can buy, that we could buy as Muslims to produce our own toilet paper, to produce our own paper towels? We could do that. We can do that. That machine costs less than $10,000. And if we're not able to do that right away, here in Egypt, there are manufacturers of toilet paper. Then we connect with our brothers again, connect with our brothers across the water and have our own distribution. So we want to go from manufacturing to distribution, and the last is consumer. Do you understand? We want to be able to control our own chains. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Jazakallah khair. Thank you, dear my brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Muslim Certify helps Muslim men earn a remote income as appointment setters for Muslim businesses. Whether you are preparing for Hijrah or simply looking to create an additional stream of income, this is a practical path forward. Learn more about Muslim Certify through the link in the description.